Impeachment has been in the news a lot. So today, we talk about impeaching you.
You orange flavor mother.
So, last week, a whistleblower came out and exposed Trump for being the criminal that we all know that he is. The whistleblower's report has now ignited a flame. A bunch of lawmakers, both Republican and Democrats, are asking for his head on a platter. His impeached head on a platter. From May to August 2019, Trump was pressuring the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to investigate Joe Biden for his own political gain. With help from Rudy Giuliani, you know who that is, the crazy nut who used to be the mayor of New York, who's now losing his goddamn mind all over TV.
I'm not spinning a damn thing. Okay. I'm telling you the truth. Okay. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any idea what you're talking about.
You just said.
Did you ask the Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden?
No.
So the president did bring up Joe Biden on the call.
Maybe he didn't bring it up. The only thing I asked about Joe Biden is to get to the bottom of how it was that Lutsenko, who was appointed, dismissed the case against Antak.
So you did ask Ukraine to look into Joe Biden?
Of course I did.
You just said you didn't.
Rudy Giuliani and William Barr. William Barr is the head of Trump's Justice Department. And they were in cahoots, and they were basically trying to pressure the Ukrainian government into giving them dirt on Joe Biden's son. Now, there was a $400 million weapon system that we were selling to Ukraine. Now, Congress had already cleared that money to go to Ukraine for them to get their, missile system. Now, Trump, instead of clearing that money to go where it's supposed to go, he decides, you know what, I'm going to hold on to this money. Because he knows about something that happened in Ukraine that has to do with Joe Biden and Joe Biden's son, and he wants that information exposed to the public. He wants dirt on Joe Biden before he can allocate those funds that were already cleared. Now, that in and of itself is illegal because who controls the money that America spends? Holistically, it's Congress. Congress has what's known as the power of the purse, right? So they control where the money goes. And now Trump is using his executive power to kind of infringe upon that and infringe upon their ability to do their job, to allocate funds as they see fit. That's illegal.
You are fake news.
Using that money as a way to extort the Ukrainian government is another type of illegal. This guy's all types of crazy. And the media's talking all about that. Everyone's saying, oh, Trump he's evil, he did all of this. And it's true, he did some corrupt stuff. But one thing that I don't think that the media is focusing enough on is exactly what is it exactly that Trump is saying that Joe Biden's son did. Let's get into that. Why is it that Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, is being paid $50,000 a month in order to sit on the board of an energy company in Ukraine? Now, Giuliani's primary allegation against Joe Biden's son, is that Joe Biden pushed for the firing of Ukraine's top prosecutor, who was looking into that weird arrangement where you have the son of a prominent U.S. leader, in fact, the son of the vice president of the United States, working for a energy company. He has no experience in energy, and they're paying him far more than anyone else who sits on that board or anyone who sits on comparable boards for energy companies is getting paid. How is it that he's getting paid more? It seems like nepotism. Now, the way it would operate in this context is that you have Hunter Biden, right? He's sitting on the board of a company, of an energy company. Maybe that company is engaging in some shady activity. Now, being that they're paying him so well, Joe Biden, the vice president who has a lot of pull with the president of the United States, is going to say, hey, Obama, my buddy, look the other way.
Yes, we can.
Even if that company, what was it? Burisma Holdings. So if they're doing something illegal, let's not pay attention. Let's not, Now, again, like I said, there's no overt proof of that happening. Like they said that it didn't happen, and, they looked into it, and there was nothing there. So they left it alone, right? But to me, these are things they're corrupt to me. They're corrupt to me. What purpose is he there for? You're trying to buy favor. You're trying to buy a easier hand, if you will, from anyone that can prosecute and look into wrongdoings. You're trying to tell them, hey, look the other way. We're taking care of your kid. I don't know. If I'm crazy, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know, but I don't think I'm crazy. So another thing I want to talk about is how Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats in the House, how she's going about dealing with these impeachment hearings or these impeachment inquiries. So Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats, decided to narrow the investigation to only look into the illegal Ukrainian communications and not to look into the myriad of other illegal things that Trump is associated with and has done. There was another whistleblower that you may not hear about, right? That you might not have heard about. Now, this second whistleblower has possible evidence that Trump tried to corrupt the Internal Revenue Service audit of his tax returns.
Very fake news.
So you remember during the election, he's saying, oh, I'll turn over my tax returns. By the way, Trump has yet to turn over his tax returns. We're getting to the end of his first term as president. He hasn't released his tax returns. Crazy. This second whistleblower,
In fact, I'm a legitimate whistleblower.
said that Trump is trying to corrupt that investigation that the IRS is doing into his tax return. And for some reason, Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats in the House, says she doesn't want to look into that. She only wants to look into the Ukrainian stuff. To me, that's dubious as hell, because you're a Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, your boy, your homie that you probably want to become president, Joe Biden, was implicated in corruption himself. So you saying, okay, we're going to go after Trump for his corruption, for looking into the corruption on the person that I'm associated with, Joe Biden, you think that that's the route to go? You can lose too, Nancy Pelosi. If public sentiment decides to switch and they say, hey, wait, Biden did something kind of messed up here too, then do you really have that strong of a case against Trump to say you should impeach him if something could point right back at you too? Look at your boy Biden. Look at the corrupt shit that he did, right? That's my opinion though. Man, I'm crazy. I know I'm crazy, but it's my opinion. Now, there's a clause in the Constitution known as the Emoluments Clause. Now, it prohibits a president from having any means through which somebody can purchase favor from the government, right? Now, one of the main ways that one can do this is, let's say the president owns a business. Now, I can have a foreign dignitary, as Trump does all the time, a foreign dignitary, stay at the hotel that I own, right? Sounds familiar. Trump owns a bunch of hotels everywhere, right? And that when that foreign dignitary goes there, he pays an exorbitant amount in order to stay there, right? For a limited amount of time. And then what happens? That they're trying to purchase favor from the government. He said that he put his assets in a blind trust, but that blind trust is being looked after by people that are around him every day. So that's not a blind trust.
Very fake news.
Overall, what's happening is Trump is taking money from foreign dignitaries, taking money through his various business holdings, and he's doing favors for them. Saudi Arabia, they were allowed to kill Jamal Khashoggi, who was a United States journalist, a journalist that was a United States citizen. They were allowed to kill him and get away with it because Trump was taking money from Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia was allowed to kill him, got away with it. Bin Salman, who's the leader of Saudi Arabia, was implicated by our intelligence agencies as being a person that played a role, the head role in getting that journalist killed. And now, because Trump is being paid all of this money from Saudi Arabia, and he says it too, like in press briefings, you hear Trump say, oh, you know, the Saudis, they treat me really good. They pay a lot of money.
If you look at Saudi Arabia, they're an ally and they're a tremendous purchaser of not only military equipment, but other things. When I went there, they committed to purchase $450 billion worth of things.
And he's saying that in a means to say, oh, this is why I'm doing things for them. Not only is he corrupt, he's so much of an idiot that he just admits to his corruption openly. He needs to get out of office because of his corruption, because of all of his relative corruption, not just because of this Ukraine thing, which I think is legit, but it's the least. There's no teeth there, man. You know what else Trump has done, and we spoke about this too. Yemen. There's an illegal war, I would say, going on in Yemen. Saudi Arabia is bombing the hell out of Yemen. Bombing ports where they can bring in food and medicine, bombing open air markets, bombing hospitals, and they're doing it with the help of the United States of America. Now, Bernie Sanders in the Senate and Ro Khanna in the House of Representatives whipped up enough votes using the War Powers Act in order to block that war, in order to stop it from happening, and Trump vetoed it because he's fucking corrupt.
President Trump issued the second veto of his presidency overnight, rejecting a call from Congress to end U.S. involvement in Yemen's civil war.
This resolution is an unnecessary, dangerous attempt to weaken my constitutional authorities, endangering the lives of American citizens and brave service members both today and in the future. George, you just said it. You know, the UN calls the situation in Yemen the world's most severe humanitarian crisis.
He needs to get the hell out of there for that reason. And this is the truth about impeachment hearings. When you get to impeachment hearings, you're talking details. You're talking what happened. Why should this president be impeached? The strongest argument you can make for why he could be impeached is him vetoing the War Powers resolution that they whipped up in the House and in the Senate for him to sign, and he vetoed that shit. That's the number one reason why they should be coming after him. Because innocent children are dying. Cholera. It's a disaster going on over there. They're dying of starvation. We're looking at a million people on the brink of starvation that can die, that are dying right now. And the people that have a conscience and have a heart that work in this cesspool that we call Washington, D.C., when they step up and they want to do the right thing, this asshole President Trump vetoes the fucking bill. So let's impeach him for killing babies, not for this little Ukraine deal where, oh, I want dirt on my opponent. I mean, it's just not compelling enough. And when you're going through the hearing, people are going to get tired of that shit. And then Nancy Pelosi claims that she wants to limit the scope of the investigation because if you have too many things to talk about, people will get confused. There they go, you know, treating us like little children again. You know, we're the general public. You know, if you give us the right information, we can grasp it. We're smart enough. They don't have no faith, so they want to go with these simple things that really are of very little consequence when compared to other fucked up things that Trump has done that he should be impeached for that are of way huger consequence. That's just me though. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. But all I know is that this motherfucker's gotta go.
You orange flavor mother.
Take our black asses out of here. Won't you take our black asses out of here? Won't you come save us, catch up and kill all these crackers? Lord, come save us, catch up and kill all these crackers. Lord, come save us, catch up and kill all these crackers. Lord, take our black asses out of here. Say this motherfucker now.
You orange flavor mother.